12 levels up is the bottom, and down is really up to the one who knows. The blind are crowned kings here. I began as gutless string wiggling in Nightsoul scripture. No eyes, no light, just warm, wet walls of rotting belief and a hunger fed by dead roots. Here darkness ain't absence, it's gospel. Truth's too bright for blind gums. So we chew confusion, like it's candy from God's own hand. They call this level high. I call it rock bottom with a chandelier. The world above thinks it knows, but it's just a mound of maggots, bragging about diplomas they swallowed whole. Here, the more lost you are, the more they clap. Time is a lie told by motion. They gave me legs, but no rush. The horizon was just an inside joke I couldn't laugh at yet. Every footstep tasted like molasses prayers. Every blink was an hourglass stuck upside down. Patience? No. Resentment disguised as virtue. I didn't wait because I believed. I waited because I couldn't run. Here, stillness mocks you with shadows that crawl. But it taught me this. Sometimes the slow burn leaves the deepest scar. Ladders lie. I climbed trees just to feel above what I couldn't outrun. Every branch was a temporary answer to a permanent ache. Run, climb, hide, repeat, until the cat stared me down and I knew you can't outpace your predator when it lives in your heartbeat. Gravity always wins, even when you climb. Curiosity killed the map. Questions licked my paws. Answers hissed in shadows. Here I became clever, too clever. I boxed myself in with syllogisms and proofs, never knowing the trap was believing logic meant freedom. I chased yarns of thought until they strangled me with their own elegance. Inside the box I was master. Outside? I didn't know there was one. I saw the fish, but I questioned the bait until it rotted. Air is death, but you breathe it. Water was my gospel. I swam in what I couldn't name and called it home. Here the unseen kills you, not because it hates you, but because you trust what wraps you. To rise, I had to drown in invisible things. The worm? He played his part, dangling truth like a lie on a silver hook. And when I bit, I rose, gasping for a sky that suffocated prophets. Wings are wasted on echoes. They flew in perfect lines, alphabetical flocks reciting the sky as if it were scripture. I flapped with them, not to soar, but to belong. No flight here, just memorized altitudes. The sky isn't freedom, it's just the ceiling of the cage you never question. They mimicked winds they didn't feel and called it direction. Authenticity died here, but it died in costume. Thought is illegal here. I followed paths, pressed flat by 1,000 hooves. Echoes became my shepherd. Opinions came pre-chewed. They whispered, think for yourself, but only if it matched the menu. Here, being wrong means you're awake. And yeah, they hate that. This maze? It bends back into itself and calls it progress. Even the worm hadn't swallowed this much polished shit. The mind chatters loudest when the soul is mute. I screamed wisdom through banana peel logic. Here I almost heard intuition, but drowned it beneath memes and mantras. My thoughts jumped tree to tree without landing. I knew something was there. I just couldn't shut up long enough to listen. Every insight dissolved in dopamine. Still the spark stirred. It wasn't dead, just out-talked. Love barks louder than logic. I wagged my tail at truth. I licked wounds I didn't cause. Here I knew love, but couldn't translate it. My bark was misunderstood prayer. They saw obedience, I meant sacrifice. I gave until my bones forgot what they were made for. Truth lived in my chest, but language betrayed it. Truth bites, especially when it's honest. I clawed because I cared. snarled because I saw. Here I knew the world was sick and tried to scream its cure into deaf skulls. But truth is bitter. It burns the tongue that carries it. I hadn't yet learned the wise do not shout at brick walls. I bled for those who called me mad and smiled as they choked on my warnings. The clown knows. I laughed at everything, because to cry was too sacred for this circus. I wore ego like war paint, mocked lies but still danced with them when no one watched. Here, knowing hurts most, because everyone still thinks it's a game. But I wasn't laughing at the joke, I was laughing at the audience. Digging down to light. There was no up, only down. I tunneled through yesterday's lies, choking on echoes of who I once was. This is the graveyard of ego, the compost for truth. Here, light isn't found, it's earned by surrender. Every memory claws at you. Every name you wore melts, until all that's left is skinless soul and silence. I thought it was hell, but it was a cocoon. The hiss is enough. I shed the world, every mask, every name, every fight. No more teeth, no more tail, just coil, just gaze. Here, silence says everything. I slither through illusion, not to escape, but to expose that it was always inside me. I hiss truth, not as weapon, but as whisper. I don't speak because there's nothing left to argue with. The box was born from me, and now I digest it whole. Worm to snake, blind to seer, level down to rise, die to live. Call it a descent, but you'll never understand until you stop trying to climb. Only the fallen rise, only the devoured know, and only the snake remembers it once was the worm. I am CMJ.